when I started my whole process of ditching the toxins and the chemicals, and I was kind of terrified because I didn't want to give anything up. What I quickly discovered is that I didn't give anything up. Actually, what I did give up was the acne. I gave up sensitive skin. I gave up oily skin. I gave up feeling fatigued and tired and the brain fog. I gave up irregular periods. If you do what I tell you to do, what's going to happen is your skin's going to come back to life. Your hormones are going to balance. A lot of the things that are causing inflammation in your body and the neurotoxicity that's causing the brain fog, the heavy metals and all those types of things, you're actually going to have better looking skin and you're going to feel way better. So while it might feel heavy while you're looking at it from the outside, that's the way the beauty industry wants you to feel about it. Literally, it is a bright, shining light that you're going to feel so much better and look so much better on the other side.
If you are a woman who has maybe had an awareness or a curiosity about changing over your toxic skincare that can be negatively impacting your hormones, how you feel, and actually might be contributing to aging your skin, this is an episode for you. I get to interview Trina Felber. She is a registered nurse and founder of the Clean Beauty movement. She was the previous founder of Primal Life Organics, an incredible natural skincare company. In this episode, you're going to learn how to easily and simply read and understand a makeup product label in a second. Not only that, you're going to know exactly what products to use and how to make your own in 5 minutes or less. There's so much incredible information in here. I'm really excited for you to get into this one. Hey, real quick, have you ever felt like there's no time to rest, put your feet up, or even think about picking up a book? It's exactly why I created Best Friends Book Nook. This is not your typical book club. It's designed for busy women just like us who are wanting to connect with ourselves, grow, but without the pressure. In this free community, we choose inspiring, easy to read books and create space for ourselves, even if it's just 5 minutes a day to breathe, reset, and finally enjoy a little me time. The best part, we have regular community connection calls where we share insights, connect, and support each other. If this sounds like what you've been craving, check the links to Book Nook in the description. We'd love to see you there. Now, back to the show. Welcome, Trina Felber, one of my absolute favorite people in the world. You guys are going to love our time together. Thanks for being here, Trina.
Oh, Melissa, I'm so excited. It's always so good to reconnect with you. It's so good.
This is going to be such a fun conversation. You guys are going to leave here with so much information. This is going to blow your mind. One of my favorite things about Trina is that she is a busy mama. She is juggling work and family. And this is a woman who takes the approach that we all need. Like, you're going to get information in here on how, in the conversation of hormones, I don't know, this is a conversation me and my girlfriends are having all the time. Maybe it's because I'm in my 40s, but what we're doing in our lives are impacting our hormones and how skincare might be something we're not considering, but we need to be. We're going to talk about easy, inexpensive swaps to switch out your stuff in such a realistic way. We're going to talk about how you can actually make your own products, which I have done from Trina's recommendations, and it's so easy. And we're going to actually walk through some techniques on here that you can implement right now in this video on how to rejuvenate your skin. So Trina is someone who, Trina, I don't know how to say it other than just say, like, you clearly are like a get shit done kind of person, my favorite kind of person. It's like, we've got this time together. These women who's listening are busy and their time is precious. And so they are going to walk away with stuff that they need. This isn't just like a listen in and get more concepts. It's like actually getting tangible information that is so easy and effective. So again, thank you for coming and bringing all the value that you always bring on these conversations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. And, for all the ladies listening, this is such an important topic that gets poo-pooed on the social media, by doctors, by health influencers. Everyone poo-poos this. Of course, people talk about skincare and how you have to, use good products. But then on the other hand, there's the beauty industry and the health influencers that have, and even, physicians and doctors and that have no idea what the impact the beauty industry is actually having on our health. And so this is the time that we have to wake up, like literally wake up as women and realize that our skin is our largest organ. I like to stop and think about the ways that you can hurt yourself. And obviously that's in the foods that you're eating. And so many have already made the switch and are using, real food and making their own food instead of going out and getting processed foods or eating out as much. We're doing other things like working out and taking supplements and all of those good things. But our largest organ is very vulnerable. That's your skin. It's very vulnerable to toxins. And the beauty industry knows this. Big Cosmo is one of the big conglomerates with, big pharma, big farm, big dental. And it's an easy target to poison us as well as keep us under the influence of things that will be harming our body. So I'm really excited to dive in because this is the moment that we as women really need to wake up to a root cause of the reasons why we feel the way we feel sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say this information can be really dark and heavy, right? It's like we have heard there's toxins in our skincare. And I think honestly, as someone who is very educated in holistic healthcare products, I still am, as a consumer, am very overwhelmed. It's really overwhelming. So I think even though we hear this, it's like the next part of actually making it one of the things that we're talking about as women when we're talking about our hormones, when we're talking about approaching perimenopause. Like you said, it gets swept under the rug. We're talking more about protein and lifting weights and maybe cycle syncing. And I think part of that, a big part of it is exactly what you're talking about. And we're going to go into some of the nitty gritty on that. Not necessarily fun, but I think it's important because it's going to help the listeners understand why they're not hearing this information and how powerful of a piece this is in the puzzle of getting to a place where we actually feel good, whether it's in our years of trying and wanting to make a baby and struggling to do that, or whether it's in the years of our cycle and having really uncomfortable cycles, not knowing how much our skincare can impact that. Or in the circles I'm tending to be sitting in right now, it's like perimenopause, and thank God that's getting to be a bigger buzz and a bigger conversation. It's not fun and it's not comfortable, but how big of an issue skincare is when it comes to that. So again, I just want to say from this information, you are going to walk away with not just all the yuck about it, but you're going to walk away with so much of the yum. So here's the dark side, but here's exactly what you can do. And it's really easy, I promise you, and it really works.
Yeah. And what's interesting is the beauty industry isn't regulated. So this is a very easy target for the beauty industry to basically poison our bodies and make us sick because we get on a hamster wheel. The beauty industry wants you on that wheel, that hamster wheel of thinking. First of all, they want you to think that natural or clean doesn't work. Secondly, they want you to constantly think that you need more, more, and more, and that the only way to look beautiful, because it's all vanity. The beauty industry is all about vanity. And let me tell you, I want to look just as good as the next person. I don't mind aging. I don't want to prematurely age, and I want people to think that I'm younger than I actually am. And that's really important to me. So when I started my whole process of ditching the toxins and the chemicals, I was sort of terrified. I was 40 years old at the time, and I was kind of terrified because I didn't want to give anything up. What I quickly discovered is that I didn't give anything up. Actually, what I did give up was the acne. I gave up sensitive skin. I gave up oily skin. I gave up feeling fatigued and tired and the brain fog. I gave up irregular periods. I actually completely gave up menopause. Literally, I never even had one menopause symptom when I went through menopause. So what I actually was afraid of, and this is where, it feels so dark. Like you said, I love that description. It feels really heavy and dark because we're afraid. We're afraid of what's going to happen if I don't use what's in this bottle, this tiny little bottle. What's going to happen if you do what I tell you to do? What's going to happen is your skin's going to come back to life. Your hormones are going to balance. A lot of the things that are causing inflammation in your body and the neurotoxicity that's causing the brain fog, the heavy metals and all those types of things, you're actually going to have better looking skin and you're going to feel way better. So while it might feel heavy while you're looking at it from the outside, that's the way the beauty industry wants you to feel about it. Literally, it is a bright, shining light that you're going to feel so much better and look so much better on the other side.
Love that. Now, one of the things that I love about you, there are many, is that you bring to this your background in nursing. And so you had told me a story about how real of an analogy, how we can really understand how quickly the products go into our skin, into our organs. And it was a story from your nursing background. Can you share that?
Yeah, so we're talking about heart medication and how the skin absorbs everything you put on it. And within 30 to 60 seconds, your skin will absorb about 60 to 70% of what you put on it. And we know this in medicine because as a nurse, we would have people come into the ER, they're suffering from chest pain. And the first thing that we do, one of the first things, of course, we put oxygen on them, we hook them up to the monitor. But one of the first things that we do is we put nitroglycerin on them. So it's like a goo that slaps on a paper and we would just put it, on their arm or on their chest. And within about 30 to 60 seconds, we can see on the monitor their heart rate will come down a little bit and their blood pressure starts to come down. So that's how quickly we absorb things through our skin. And women absorb, I'm guesstimating, approximately 500 to 700 chemicals every single day. Because as women, we use around 20 products. So it's not just your beauty products, it's your dental products, hair products, body products. I'm talking deodorant and moisturizers. Makeup. As women, you could be using 7 makeup products, easy. And all of those come with a cost and a risk. So the impact for women is dramatic. And that's why women are a little bit more toxic than men, is because we tend to use more beauty products than men do.
Makes so much sense. So that's such a tangible example, right? I love taking things from conceptual to tangible. It's like we know this stuff's toxic, we know it gets in our skin, but boom, you see in 30 to 60 seconds, it impacts someone's heart. Like if that doesn't drive that home, I don't know what does. That was crazy to me when I heard that story. Okay, so let's touch on simplifying. I think we talk about like what the chemicals actually do, nitty gritty, like how they impact our hormones and our health. And then what one thing can people look for on the label to simplify the process? Because there's so many ingredients. Like this is where I got overwhelmed. Great information, but now I go to buy my makeup or my skincare and I'm like, I don't know, phthalates. Like what do I even look for to ditch?
Okay, let's start with what do these things do? So let's talk about hormone disruptors, because for women, that's a big one. How many women out there are taking hormones, synthetic hormones or hormone patches or, creams, things like that? So hormone disruptors in personal care products, they can mimic, block, or interfere with your natural hormones. So mimic means, you're making your own hormones and all of a sudden you put something on your body, whether it's a moisturizer or, shampoo, whatever. Now you've got these fake hormones that are going to mimic exactly what your hormones do. So that's going to do one of two things. It's either going to give you symptoms because you've got excess, or it's going to even impact your body's ability to make your own hormones. Because you got to remember, your body is always trying to be normal. It's trying to normalize. So here's your body on a cycle of when you're putting your skincare products on and it's getting absorbed. And a lot of women can almost go back and go, oh my gosh, every time, every morning I would start to feel horrible. But maybe it's because that's when you did your morning routine. You did your makeup, did your hair, did your skincare, did all of the stuff. And then 2 hours later, you're like, oh my God, I can't even keep my eyes open. I've got, brain fog, maybe headaches, things like that. And it's because your body's making hormones. And then all of a sudden you just attacked your body with more hormones doing the same thing. So your body might even then counteract and stop making the hormones, because obviously, why should it make it if you've got these and these aren't real hormones, they're mimicking. So your body's just so confused. It can also block or interfere. So it can block the ability of your hormone to even work. So it puts a block on it, or it can interfere with the way that your hormones actually work. So that's where you get the symptoms. Neurotoxicity is the same thing. And some of that comes from the heavy metals and things that are in the products that we're using. And then cancer causing is a big word, and it's very scary. Really, in reality, these chemicals cause inflammation in the body. Anything synthetic that your body it can't use or doesn't know what to do with or interferes with the way it's normally supposed to process will cause inflammation in the body, which will then lead to dis-ease in the body, which could also lead to cancer. Some of these are known to cause cancer. The problem is because women use so many products, one product might have, of course, the FDA regulates a certain amount of ingredients that can go in products, but that's one product and one ingredient. Now they can use 3 different parabens, and as long as the 3 different types of parabens are all under the regulated amount, the company, they're okay, but your body isn't okay because you're absorbing 3 times the amount. And then on top of that, if you're using 10 or 12 products that have those same ingredients in it, you've literally you're taking a chemical bath every time you're slathering yourself and your body. And it's no wonder we don't feel good. It's no wonder that women are getting menopause symptoms in their 30s and 40s, even if you're not even connecting the dots yet. Maybe you are now, maybe the light bulb's going off and you're going, wow, I didn't even think about connecting my brain fog or my moodiness or my, headaches with what I'm putting on my skin every single day, because it becomes so normal to us, because it becomes the new normal. And what we're told is you're just getting older. You just have to deal with it. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to deal with it. It's not normal. Any symptom is not normal. It's your body speaking to you, telling you that it's out of sync. It's not able or doesn't want what you're doing to it. The second part of it was, what can we look for, right? What do we look out for? I'll give you my little secret. Melissa already knows this. It's really difficult and really confusing for women. And this is where you get very dark and you get very nervous and everybody freezes. That's what happens. I know so many women have great intentions. Like, oh, I want to do clean beauty. I want to do natural or organic. I just, I'm not sure where to start and I don't know what to look for. And so we freeze, or we go to the EWG or Think Dirty. And we believe that what we're getting is clean, when in reality, Yucca's the other one. In reality, they're not reporting accurate data to you. They're telling you products are okay and safe to use when there are actually hidden hormone disruptors, neurotoxins, and cancer-causing ingredients in them as well. So there's 2 sides of the story. You either believe that you're using good products because you use those apps, when in reality, you're still getting bombarded with chemicals, or we freeze because we don't know what to do. So I'm here to tell you that I have completely simplified this. I am not a woman that wants to have to think a lot. I don't want to have to refer to anything. I simplify everything in my life. My beauty routine is extremely simple. And I've simplified how to read a skincare label. And that's part of what I teach my clients. It's the very first thing that you need to learn, one of the first things that you need to learn. But an ingredient to watch out for is water. Because when you omit water from your products, chances are very, very good that you're going to be omitting most of the other toxins that come with water.
We talked about this in a past episode. We'll link that below because I want to go so deep into some of the other good stuff, and they can listen to that episode and they'll have information how to join your community where you teach all this stuff. But if water is the number 1 ingredient, basically throw out that product. I cannot tell you, everybody listening or watching this, all the natural products that I have had, most of them had water as the number 1 ingredient. And so why is water as the number 1 ingredient? I would think, okay, at least it's not a chemical. I know that the number 1 ingredient is what the product is mainly made up of. I would see water and think, oh, that's okay. So what's wrong with water being the number 1 ingredient?
It doesn't make sense. And we're so brainwashed into believing that it's okay because it's in everything. There's two problems with water being in your beauty products. And the first problem I'll tackle real quick is the beauty side of it. So water in a product is going to dry your skin out. And when you dry the skin out over time, it becomes very dehydrated on the inside. And when you dehydrate the skin, the tissue, the functions, the cells in the skin, you can't decongest the skin or the tissue. So you end up with congested skin, but you also end up with very thin skin. Like I always like to say, think of a prune versus a plum. You go from being plum, think of my daughter's 16 years old. She's got gorgeous skin. Those kids, their skin is so plump and there's no wrinkles and it looks so good. But then, you start using these products and all of a sudden you start to see the skin starts to get saggy or thin and you start to see wrinkles. Well, that is what water does to the skin over time because it pulls out the moisture of your skin. Water's not hydrating to the surface of the skin. Drink water, yes. Drink clean, pure water, yes. You need that. But in your beauty products, if you dehydrate your beauty products, you will hydrate your skin. So that's the beauty side of it. Now, the health side of water in your skincare is another factor. So water typically in skincare products is tap water. And tap water will be contaminated with multiple types of things that you don't want in your body, which is why we drink clean, purified water, including drug waste, such as birth control. We have to think of what a lot of people in the universe are on. Birth control pills, antidepressants are huge, antibiotics, heart meds, thyroid medication, autoimmune types of medications. So what is that? How is that impacting your body? If you're going through menopause, or let's take it back a couple years. Let's say you're in your fertile age, your 20s, 30s, and you want to get pregnant and your periods are irregular. This was me in my 20s. This was me for a long time, 20s and 30s, irregular periods. And I couldn't get my periods regular no matter what. And I didn't realize that the amount of hormone disruptors in my skincare products that were causing that, because lo and behold, as soon as I made the switch, my periods were like clockwork. And that was literally the only thing I changed because I had already changed my diet. I had already changed my cleaning supplies and my laundry detergent. When I found out the impact of personal care products on your skin and your body, that's what I changed. And then that's when my hormones normalized and I finally got regular periods. So that impact is so important. But then you fast forward, the same hormone disruptors in your skincare that's going to cause infertility are going to cause the menopause symptoms that you're going to get earlier than if you weren't taking, or, I say taking, or being under the influence of those hormone disruptors in your personal care products. So women will end up with hot flashes, weight gain, night sweats, all of those types of things. And, what are we told when we go to our GYN or, the doctors? We're told that's just, you're going through menopause. That's just normal. And to some degree, it might be normal. Of course, we do go through the change, but the impact that we're bombarding ourselves with every single day, that root cause, if you get rid of those hormone disruptors, you might sail through menopause like I did. I didn't have one single symptom, not one hot flash, night sweat, no weight gain. I didn't even know I was going through menopause until my period disappeared, like completely disappeared. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I mean, it wasn't even like, skipping periods. It was clockwork, gone. That was when I was 50. I went through menopause when I was 50, and I'm 56 right now. So I had detoxed for 10 years of these hormone disruptors, but that's the impact that they can have on your health. So that's what water, taking out the water is going to be it's going to make a huge impact on your health because of the actual drug waste that's in there, but also the heavy metals. There's tons of heavy metals that are found in tap water and other types of waste as well, bacteria and things. But when you omit the water from your personal care products, the beauty companies that aren't using water in their products aren't using all the other crap as well because you don't need to. So I've simplified it super easy. And then you don't need those apps that are lying to you. You don't need the Think Dirty or the EWG. It's up here. When you know something to be true, then you can act on it. And then like you see and feel the difference. That's the empowerment I want women to feel, because the next shiny object's going to come around. I mean, we're all on Instagram or Facebook or whatever your platform is, TikTok, whatever your vice is. There's influencers showing you the next shiny object. So whether it's, somebody showing you the Botox or the fillers or the peptides or, whatever, the hyaluronic acid, the retin-A, whatever the shiny object happens to be, you can go, let me check. Let me look at the ingredients, because I do this all the time with the shiny objects. And I go, yeah, they're going to be fooling a lot of people, but not me. Not me, and my health won't suffer because of it. And that's how I want women to navigate their lives, from that source of power.
And that's exactly what you do. And that's what we're about to do. People now are going to learn the beautiful information that they need to feel that sense of empowerment. But before, I have to ask the elephant in the room question, because you just talked about your age. Your skin is radiant. Have you had any work done? Have you had Botox, fillers, surgeries?
It's so interesting. So I actually did, as a nurse anesthetist, I did facelifts, as I was the CRNA, the nurse in the room doing the anesthesia for the facelifts. I almost lost 2 women during facelifts. Literally almost lost them on the table. And luckily, thank God, we didn't. That struck a chord in me. And one of the reasons I believe I'm so passionate about this is because I don't believe any woman should die or risk dying to feel beautiful. And so that is one of the reasons I'm extremely passionate. I can't tell you the feeling of being in an operating room, putting someone to sleep, and then the next thing you're trying to keep them alive. And it was all because they wanted to be beautiful. And I'm not saying that to disgrace what they were doing and how they were feeling. I just wanted to get to the point where women don't even have to do that. So I've never had surgery. I've had no lifts or tucks. I've not had any Botox. I've never done Botox. I've never done any injections, no fillers, no nothing. Everything that I have done has been, and this is life. I've been doing clean beauty for about 20 years now. So I'm not talking about just 20 years. I'm talking about even in my 30s and my 20s, I never did anything. And then it was when I turned 40 when I switched completely to clean beauty. And that's when my skin actually changed. My skin is more beautiful today than it was when I was 36. My skin, when I was 36, I had a face full of acne. I'd done Accutane twice. I'd done prescriptions. I'd done over-the-counter. My skin was extremely oily. It was thin. I was embarrassed. I wouldn't walk out of the house without makeup on. I was like disturbed. And I don't know what path I would have gone down if I hadn't discovered what I discovered. But it was a miscarriage that actually turned everything around for me and opened my eyes, because I was trying to figure out what I could do to make myself healthy, or healthier, because I felt like I was healthy, but healthier just to support a new life. And then that's when I discovered the toxins that were poisoning me in my beauty products. And that's when I made the switch. And that's when my skin changed, my health changed, my life changed. And I just want women to feel like, oh my gosh, if she can do it, I can do it. Because I didn't even know what I was doing back then. I had no clue, no idea. I went through nursing school and I went through anesthesia school, master's degree. And I was never taught about skincare or skincare products and the toxins or the effects. But in anesthesia school, I learned how the cells are affected by chemicals such as, anesthetic gases. And at this point, after I had my miscarriage, the dots were connecting because I had that insight that if my cells are affected and they're not affected in a positive way, then the downfall, like your cells are your basic building block. It builds up from there. You've got cells, tissues, organs, the whole systems. So if your cells aren't healthy, then your body can't be healthy. And then that's when I put the connection after I, discovered the toxins in my personal care products. I threw everything out and I started making my own because it wasn't about me. It was about my unborn baby because I was pregnant at the time with my daughter. And the beautiful thing for all the women in the world right now, this is the most beautiful thing, is that I did all the hard work. I spent years researching. I have a knowledge base of the beauty industry that no one else does, because not only did I just make the switch for myself, but then I formulated and manufactured skincare for years. For 16 years I did that. So I have an insider information about the beauty industry, and I teach it in a way that gets you out of the dark and into the light, feeling not heavy about it, but actually feeling like super good, super light about it. It's amazing. I was just talking to a friend. It was this past week. We had dinner together and we were at an event, and I had just met her. She's in her probably 60s or 70s, an older woman who was like, Trina, I was talking about the water, telling them what I do, and educating 4 women at the table about water and skincare, because people go, what? And she said, I changed her life. She just told me, she goes, you changed my life in 3 days. She goes, you told me about water. You told me what to get. I did what you told me. And after I got the products, 3 days later, she goes, my skin was amazing. And I hear that all the time. So it's not hard. It's super simple. And it's like a butterfly. When it happens, you go from not knowing in this cocoon, you're damaging your body, you're not doing the best, or you feel like it's not right, because chemicals in skincare are actually zero vibration. When we talk about frequency and vibration, I'm a very spiritual person. And when you talk about the frequency and vibration of chemicals, it's basically dead. Like, they have no vibration. They actually bring down your vibration of your body. Same thing with dead food. You were talking about going to McDonald's every day. If you're going to buy dead food, your body isn't going to be able to use it and you're going to get sick. Well, fast food skincare is the same way. It brings down your vibration. As soon as you start using products that have, things in them that have a frequency or a vibration to them, that is the only thing it can do, is bring your cells back to life. And that's what happens.
Beautiful. So much information. I just have to touch, as a fellow woman, I'm so sorry for the experience you went through with your miscarriage. And I know we've spoke about this in other episodes and privately as well. And I'm also thankful that, it set you on this trajectory. And what I see here is an empowered woman empowering other women. You took these huge concepts. It's like your mess has now become your message. You didn't know how to boil this all down and simplify it. You needed to change your skincare, and that was your mess. You figured it out. I love your background. Science, and you simplified it. I met you when you were running Primal Life Organics. I don't know, of the listeners who knows that company. It was a very successful company, thanks to you. And you got me on the raspberry leaf oil, which is the main sun protection that I use now living in Miami. So as we pivot into, the light of this topic and getting women this information, do you want to start with maybe the easiest ways for someone who's now heard this and they're like, okay, what do I do? What do I pivot into? I know we're going to talk about the products you help women make. I'm not at all surprised that woman said you changed her life in 3 days. I made one of your products. We'll talk about that in a bit here. Couldn't believe how easy it was. And everyone that I've gifted it to has said the same thing. I mean, I'm getting text messages. They're like, this stuff is insane. It's so good. So this is really, really real, ladies. This stuff really, really works. I promise you.
Yeah. What's really cool is all the chemicals that, the influencers want to tout, the retin A and hyaluronic acid or peptides are the big thing right now. You have to realize all these ingredients are synthetic. So again, synthetic ingredients are chemicals and they bring down your vibration. So while you might get, and I get so many people, oh my gosh, but my skin looks so good after I use it. Well, of course it's going to look good because the chemicals are working, but ultimately it's going to, long term, you have to look long term. Long term, it's going to do more damage than good. But one of the most beautiful things about natural products or natural ingredients, you've got to think about the plants that you're using. So it's going to be a botanical or plant-based skin food diet. And so you have to start thinking about your skin as your second gut, and what you feed your skin is going to become you. So if you look at your label, so the first thing that you need to do today is look at your product. And first of all, I'm going to tell you, if it's packaged in plastic, you will become plastic. Like plastic plasticizers in packaging do leach into the product and affect your body. So I always say, if Barbie wants to be Barbie, use plastic. That's what you're going to become. You're going to become Barbie using plastic. So packaging is a big deal. And the next thing is, read the ingredients. And if you don't recognize those ingredients, first of all, if you see water and you don't recognize the other ingredients, it should be a hard no. Like, your gut will probably tell you. Most women are intuitive about stuff. So if you pick up a product and you look at it and your gut tells you this, like, your brain is going to tell you, oh my God, I want that. Oh my gosh, look at the marketing. It says it's going to reduce my wrinkles. It's going to get rid of my scars. It's going to do this and this and this. Your brain has no clue. So stop listening to your brain. It's your gut. Your gut will go, oh, like, would I put this on my sandwich? Would I spread this on my sandwich? Would I use this serum on my salad as my dressing? No, you probably wouldn't. Most of the products on the market, you wouldn't. So, swapping that out for ingredients, one of my favorite ingredients, and it's in the collagen booster, which is what you're talking about. We made the collagen booster in the group, and the recipe's super easy. It takes less than 10 minutes to make this. By the time you get all the ingredients and you divide it out for the amount that you make, probably costs you about $7 for a face serum that works way better than anything that you can buy, but will last you probably 6 months to a year, depending on the size of batch and how much you use. $7 to $12, you've got almost a full year's worth of skincare, plus extra to make your friends or to use in other products. One of my favorite ingredients, and I always use this ingredient during the fall because it's a very fall ingredient, is pumpkin seed oil. And pumpkin is in the collagen booster. Now, you can use it all year round, just like red raspberry seed oil. But pumpkin seed oil has 17 natural peptides in it. So when we're talking about the next shiny object that the 30-year-old influencer is telling you to buy, or celebrities are just as bad. I didn't even mention that. Celebrities are actually worse because, we recognize them. They, of course, look beautiful because they're doing all the wrong things. And, we want to believe that what they're telling us is true. But remember, these influencers and celebrities are being paid by the company. Most of them, the majority, especially in this day and age, are being paid by the company to sell you the marketing ploys. So they're not going to tell you all the bad stuff that's in the product because the celebrities and the influencers have no idea, but they're going to sell you the good stuff. So they're going to tell you the peptides in this product are going to do X, Y, Z, all of that stuff. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need peptides. I didn't even know I need peptides. Like, nobody told me that I need to have peptides. So you order the $120 serum and we don't even look at anything. You don't look at packaging because we're not trained to do that. And the next thing you know, your skin might look a little better for a little while, but there goes that $129 serum sitting on your counter 3 months later because you didn't see really any results. And who knows what it did to your body, because the synthetic ingredients are the ones that cause the problems with your hormones, your nervous system, and then your, immune system as well. But, pumpkin seed has vitamins. It has essential fatty acids in it. You could put pumpkin seed oil on your salad and mix it with a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of some spices, and you could have an amazing salad dressing. And that's exactly what you should be feeding your skin. And by the way, the peptides that are in pumpkin seed oil are going to actually work so much better because your body can utilize it because it's in a form that your body can utilize.
Because it recognizes it. Yeah. So I want to, just for the listeners, if they're curious, you had mentioned this collagen boosting peptide serum. So Trina came into my online community And she did what we called a make and take, an interactive experience. So she basically came on for like a podcast kind of educational video chat, but it was live and it was from her kitchen. And we made two products. We made a collagen boosting peptide serum, which is what she's talking about. And we made a lip balm. I think for the entirety of the products that I bought, I maybe spent $200. I made 11 bottles of serum and I gifted them, and I still have leftover product. And I think I made 15 lip balms. And one of the coolest things is I did this with my 8-year-old daughter and my 11-year-old niece.
I know, and you sent me a video. It was so cute.
My job was basically just making sure, they knew what bottle was what, but they made the product. Like, that's how easy this is. And, I want to talk more about some of these ingredients because I really think, we can sit in a place of overwhelm when it comes to skincare when we go, to the store and try to get it, when we go online and try to get it. I think you could also go to a place of overwhelm if you were like, well, now I got to make my product. But I will tell you, hands down, I'm a girl that gets very overwhelmed by that kind of thing. It was the easiest thing I've ever done, and I will never go back to something else. It was fun. Like, this is something you could literally grab a group of women, have a bottle of wine if that's something that you do, or have some mocktails. Do this make and take. It was so much fun, and all the women I've gifted it to have loved it. So I would love to talk some more on some of the ingredients in that serum. And then I've heard you talk about some of the other products that you have too that we didn't necessarily make, but I know you're bringing them into your community.
Hey, we'll get right back to the episode, but I want to share one of my favorite incredible tools with you. I'm all about sharing the tools that help make me feel as good as possible in the easiest way, right? So that's why I'm obsessed with the Sauna Space Glow Light. Our whole family loves it. And it's like having the benefits of morning and evening sunlight without having to step outside, especially when it's just not accessible, whether the weather is too cold or you're stuck at work all day. The red light therapy uses infrared technology to boost your energy, mood, and even your sleep. This is perfect for those days when you can't get outside but still want all the benefits of the natural light. I use this to start my day feeling grounded or to help me and our family wind down at night. It's so simple and easy to incorporate into your routine. If you've been wanting an easy way to bring the power of infrared technology into your life, check the links in the show description for my epic discount on Glow Light by Sauna Space. Now back to the show.
Yeah, let me say first off, for the women listening, there are women out there that are like my friend, I don't want to make it. I don't have time. I want to buy it. Tell me what to buy. So you don't have to make your own products. What I tell a lot of women is please try at least one, because I want you to know how easy it is and how good it feels to make your own product, but you don't have to. My clients, I have a list of, who I recommend, and, I teach them why I recommend these. And so they can choose from what I recommend. Why do I not just do that for everyone? Because you need to understand what you're getting. You have to have the knowledge. I can spoon feed people all day long, and the next shiny object is going to come, and I guarantee you're going to buy it. So knowledge is power. That's why you need the knowledge behind it. But if you want to make your own products, I do teach that as well. So, I have my program that you can go through to learn everything that you need to know. And I have some simple recipes that you can make. I explain to you where to get what, why, how. I walk you through the process of swapping out products, and it's not as hard as you think. Let me go into the rest of the ingredients real quick. So the rest of the ingredients in the collagen booster, this is how potent this is. And by the way, I know, because this is what I used to do for Primal Life, and I'm no longer with the company. I know how much I would have charged for this collagen booster serum. For me as a company, it would probably cost me about $4 to make, because I would be buying products or the ingredients in bulk. So it's going to be a little bit less than what it will cost the average person, because you can't buy the big bulk ingredients. But it would have cost me about $4 to make. I would sell this anywhere from $79 to $99 for that, for what we make, for about $7 to $12, whatever that it works out to be. That's what you would be. That's the quality of what you're getting. Now, mind you, when you go to places, and I know the beauty counters, I don't know, are they around still? Like, they disappeared, and now I see people like promoting it again. So I don't know if they're kind of back, but beauty counter was huge. And so I always would refer to them like, you go to buy a serum on the beauty counter and it's the same price. It's not any less expensive. And the beauty counter, it wasn't clean beauty. They still used a lot of chemicals. They used water. They were all packaged in plastic. So the beauty counter was not safe beauty. It was not clean beauty. It was just what they told us. And women we want to believe that people are telling the truth. That's why marketing works so well. They're going to tell you what they want you to believe and then pray that you don't know what you're talking about or how to read a label or how to decipher a website. I teach all of that. I teach you how to do all of that. So it doesn't matter if you're in Whole Foods or Ulta or Sephora. Like, you won't shop at those places anymore. You won't need to. But it doesn't matter where you are. If you're shopping online, I teach you how to really quickly know, yep, within 3 seconds, is it worth my time, my money, my health, and my beauty? Because if it's not a hell yes to all of those, then it's a hell no. Run the other direction, and I teach you where to run to. But bakuchi oil, so bakuchi oil, tamanu oil, pumpkin oil, marula oil, and then there's also the 3 essential oils are carrot seed, lavender, and geranium. I just made this yesterday because I'm going to be on a summit and I'm doing so I made it yesterday, so it was kind of fun. So tamanu oil is a very thick green oil. Like, the color of these oils is so phenomenal and it's so vibrant. And you can tell that tamanu needed to protect itself from wherever it grows. It needs to protect itself because it's got a really dark green and it's a thicker oil. And it's loaded with essential fatty acids. It's really good at regenerating the skin and improving the texture of the skin. Bakuchi and marula oil, I already told you about pumpkin seed. So pumpkin oil has like the peptides and, the vitamins A, D, and E, I think. The marula and the bakuchi oil are staples. I like to use these almost year round. So if I'm making my serums, and a lot of times I do like a seasonal skincare routine. So I'll change things up for the season. And so marula and bakuchi have to do with collagen and elastin and retin A, like not retin A itself, but vitamin A, which is what retin A is based on. But retin A is synthetic. It's only a piece of vitamin A. So you get all the side effects, the dryness, the irritation, and all that. But when you're using the full vitamin in these oils, you're not going to get those side effects. So bakuchi oil helps stimulate collagen production. And for anybody doesn't remember, or, let's just go back to health school or science. Collagen and elastin are the 2 things in your skin. Think about rubber bands that help your skin stay full, like that thickness, like the kids that you like to just squeeze their cheeks. That thickness, yeah, it gives you that fullness, and then it also has that spring back, the bounce. So, when you're, things, it's not sagging. You don't see my skin sagging, it's bouncing. So that's what collagen and elastin do. So bakuchi oil is going to increase the production of collagen and elastin in your skin. It starts to decline in our 20s. And one of the reasons it starts to decline in our 20s is because we stop using our facial muscles. So one of the things that I teach my clients to do is to be very animated. Like, practice when you're talking to someone on the phone and they can't see you. If you're nervous about it, just start talking and being as animated as you can, because when you're using your facial muscles, you are stimulating collagen and elastin, but also rebuilding the muscles of your face, like face yoga. That's another thing that I also help teach, is some face yoga exercises. So muscle mass decreases because we're sitting in front of a computer, we're not talking to people, and we're not using our muscles anymore. Even when we're out with our friends, we're not like, oh my gosh, like, look at the 16 and 17-year-old kids, and that's what we should be doing. Oh my gosh, that kind of stuff. So I try to be very animated when I talk, and people engage with you better. They're like, oh my gosh,
I was going to say, I wonder if that's part of like why I'm attracted to you. I like people that are really animated. This is a total sidebar, and I know we're going to get into this. I don't want you to stop this thought, but you think about the Botox and what that's doing. I mean, there's a whole neurological perspective to that, because if people's faces can't move, it's impacting the areas of our brain where we connect.
And you can't connect with them because as a human, The connection piece is that we watch the eyebrows, we watch the lips, we watch the cheeks. And when they're not moving, you shut off. You can't communicate as well. They can't communicate and you can't receive the message as well. So that's part of the problem with Botox. That's the communication piece of it. So yeah, it's very impactful. You will see that people are drawn to you and stop and even look at you and talk to you. Like if you're in Starbucks and you're in a line and you're talking to your friend, and you will see people just be drawn to you because of and that's that magnetic, you're being, human and communicating. And that's all the pieces so think about those 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. And that's how we should be. We should be communicating just like that. So practice. I tell people practice when you're not in front of someone on the phone with them. They'll hear it in your voice. Like you can't be animated and not have inflection in your voice. It just doesn't happen. And people tell me, oh my gosh, you're so passionate. That's why I sound passionate. It's not as much that I'm passionate, I am, but it's because I'm actually using my facial muscles and I'm smiling. I always told my kids, you'll appreciate this as a mom. I taught them when they were very young that the right answer is, I'd be glad to. So Mia, can you go, set the table for dinner? And she'd be like, oh, Mom, I don't want to. Wrong answer. Would you like to try that again? I'd be glad to. So you can't say that. It's almost impossible to say, I'd be glad to, without having that inflection in your voice. You can try, but technically when you're saying that, I'd be glad to, it's a positive tone. So I've always taught my kids, and that's the same thing that happens when you're using your facial muscles, is that you can't help but be positive and be radiant. And that's why people get attracted to you. So it's a whole communication process with your face movement and then the tone of your voice with it. But Bakuchi oil increases collagen production. So you're going to have more collagen being produced, and especially if you're using your muscles. The marula oil, it prevents the enzyme that breaks down collagen and elastin. So while Bakuchi oil is increasing the level of collagen and elastin in your skin, the marula oil is going to make it stick around longer. So maybe I'm making these numbers up, instead of that collagen sticking around for a month, maybe it'll stick around for a month and a half. And then you're increasing the production. And if this is a constant thing that you're using, your skin is just going to become more vibrant and more alive because you've got more collagen and elastin, and especially if you're more animated. So that's the difference. That's what feeding your skin with nutrients can do for you. The same is not true if you're putting chemicals on your skin. I mean, when I say the word chemicals, that's like a downer. After talking about Bakuchi oil and marula oil, right, now when you go pick up that bottle and you're like, oh my God. And you can feel the weight of it. The death, like it's a death sentence, literally in a bottle. That's what it is. And so that's why I'm like, wake up. This is your beauty awakening. Like literally light bulbs should be going off. Women should be thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't know this. Why didn't I think of this? Why didn't I know this? Don't think that way, because it's all in time. Like I didn't know this either, but I've condensed time for everyone because of my 20 years of experience with this. I've made it so simple that in a very short amount of time, my program is literally 5 weeks. In 5 weeks, you can turn around your entire bathroom. And I'm not talking expense. Like so much of what I do is teach you, number one, the easy things to make. You were talking about earlier, like making products. A lot of times I tell women, pick out 2 or 3 things that you want to make and then buy the rest. Don't kill yourself. Don't make yourself feel like you've got another job to do. But the nice thing about making your own products is you can make a batch, and this is one of the things I teach, make a batch that can last 2 years. So you don't have to spend all day in the kitchen. I make tooth powder for my kids. They're like, Mom, I'm out of tooth powder. Of course, they don't give you the warning. Mom, I'm out of tooth powder. So it takes me 10 minutes to whip up a batch that will last us a year. 10 minutes. I go to my kitchen. I go, okay, hold on. I'll get you some. I whip it up. I give it to him. And, I wait. And a year later, it's, Mom, I'm out. So, it doesn't take long to make a lot of stuff. But pick what you want to make and buy the rest. And then as you integrate things, you can decide, do I want to try and make something instead of rebuy this? Like, this other stuff is easy. And that's part of my community. So when you go through my program, you get a month free in my community. And in the community, I have a bunch of recipes. I call it the Bold Beauty Cooking Show because it's my Bold Beauty community. And in the cooking show, I do have some videos when it's needed to show you how to make the products. And, I help women with substituting. So if you don't have an ingredient, but you have this, substitute things out. So it's very simplified. It's very easy. The women are loving it. And women who walked into the program going, I don't really think this is for me, but I'm just going to check it out, are like hooked on video too. They're like, oh my God, you had me hooked on the second video. Like the first and the second video, I'm hooked. And they're making their products and they're loving it.
Yeah, I believe it. Just again, touching in that, I mean, when you came into the Beehive, I was blown away at like just how realistic you were. So, again, just playing out real life scenarios, it's like you get all excited to make these things. Crap, I forgot to get the one product and now I got to wait for shipping. You were so real. It was like having your best friend in your kitchen. You were like, okay, and if you ran out of this, we're going to use this instead. And if you forgot to get this, you're going to grab this from your cupboard. And oops, if you use too much of this, here's what you're going to do. If you don't have enough of this, you're going to swap it for that. It was so easy and realistic. So I can imagine everyone in your community is loving it. We're definitely going to post all the links and information below so that all the listeners can check that out. Trina, I know we've got to wrap up soon. I want to make sure if there's anything else you want to share, we get to. I could have you on every week.
You're going to be like, I have to split this into 2 episodes. We'll come back. We'll do the Botox. I know we wanted to hit on Botox and stuff. So, but this has been so much fun. And I just want women to realize that you're not stuck with the skin you have today. So anybody out there who's frustrated, like, oh my gosh, this woman, like it's taken her 16 years to look this good. No, it hasn't. Literally your skin cells regenerate about every 40 days. So you can have new skin. I usually say in about 30 days. The women in my program, typically, because I start you day 1 on a detox program that you don't even probably have to spend money on. You probably already have what you need in your kitchen. And women in about, they say in about day 3 that they're noticing a change. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I just had a woman text me the other day. She went through my program and she's like, Trina, I cannot believe this. I'm leaving the house without makeup and my skin is radiant and people are commenting. People I don't even know are like, your skin looks really good. So it's phenomenal. Usually about 2 weeks in and people are noticing something's different. Something's different. What are you doing?
Well, and they're animated, right? Now they're animated.
Yeah.
And they've got the energy of all the plants like you talked about. That was one of the coolest things you taught. It's like, think about the properties of this plant and how it has to protect itself in its environment. You're taking on that energy. Sorry, another sidebar, because this conversation is I just don't want it to end. Another thing that you had us do is we got these really cool roller balls with the crystals in them. So then the beautiful peptide serum and collagen boosting serum that we're putting on is infused with the properties of these crystals. So no wonder people are coming up to these women. It's like you are energetically attractive in a way that's just new and different.
I forgot about the crystals. I use the crystal all the time. Yes. So for anybody out there, crystals, I mean, if you're energetic and you're getting into this because you're like, oh my God, this is really cool. So putting crystals, and I'm talking like amethyst or opal, pink, whatever the pink stones are, all of those crystals in a serum that you're putting on your skin. Crystals infuse energy and it's that vibration. It's like bringing it even more alive. So that energy is going to be felt by your cells and by your entire body. So yes, that's one of my favorite things to do and you can actually take some of those crystals out of like the ones that we bought and you can drop a couple in another serum if you put it in another bottle. So you can always, use a couple from there. But I love putting the crystals. And the one that we have, I don't have it. It's over there by the counter, but the roller ball itself is a crystal, is the same crystal. And so when you're rolling it on, you're doing a couple things. You're rolling it on with the crystal. It's infused with the crystal energy. But then on top of that, because of the roller ball, it's like gua sha, or it's like a massage therapy. So you're stimulating collagen, you're stimulating elastin and blood flow. I talk about in my program the 5 pillars of beautiful skin. And the beauty industry is literally destroying our 5 pillars of beautiful skin. And I call that the root causes of aging. They are selling us products that are aging our skin and destroying our health, our longevity. Like our beauty longevity is something that as women, we should be so proud of. Like we should be holding our heads up high no matter what age we are. And I want women to feel that longevity at every age. I know I'm going to age. I know I'm going to get older looking, but I want my skin to still be radiant. I want to be confident to leave the house without makeup and not feel like I've got to cover up with anything. And so that's the empowerment I want to give women.
Trina, thank you so much for all your information. I have a feeling you're coming on again sometime soon. Maybe even in the book nook, we'll bring in your beauty book and we'll implement some of your classes and programs. Anyway, all your resources are going to be linked in the show notes for anyone who's curious. People can comment below with more information or questions. We'll make sure you're tapped into that conversation. Trina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Melissa. So good to see you again.
Always good to see you.